John Kennedy's going to do our presentation today.
I heard that when Al first played solitaire on the computer, he made his first move, and then he sat there for an hour waiting for the computer to move. And he realized, oh, this is a one-person game. and then at the end, he was sad because he lost.
Since then, I've learned how to cheat better.
Right,
Yes.
good on that.
Glad to share that one.
I'm waiting. I'm
Glad to share that.
the time as he makes a switch.
No, I'm just going to use my camera for the
Oh,
whole thing.
oh, okay. All right, so you can edit that stuff out.
You want the lights out?
Yeah. We're not going to get to see as much as I hope because we're missing our device. We have two devices. One's called the Google Chromecast, and one's an Apple TV thingy. And yeah, that doesn't help us.
Okay.
Yeah. If I were on my wife's iPad, and it connects to the projector, and then we can connect phones so that you can see. Now, I tried to get clever, and Zoom, which we use for our virtual tech conferences, which we will try to use in our presentations here so that we can broadcast our programs live for people who aren't here. But we have to get with the presenter and make sure that the presentation is going to go through a computer, and then we can transmit that. But Zoom now has, and I haven't used it, but I've seen it, an application that works with the iPhone and the iPad so that we can hook it up and your screen will see the iPad. But with the Android phones, all it does is let you share a picture or a file, and so you can't see it. But if we had had the Chromecast, we would have hopefully been able to pick up and connect the phone, and then you would have seen the small little picture on the screen. Otherwise, I'm going to have to talk about it, maybe walk around if somebody wants to see something. I'm starting here at our page, and I'm using, just so you wonder what in the world is that up there, and it's not Linux today. I could have done that. This is a new browser for Windows and Linux and Macs called Vivaldi, so that's why it looks a little bit strange. We'll talk about that at some other program because this is something that's really, really neat. But I wanted to point out on our web page that when you go to calendar and activities, that the activities of the month are listed there in order of the month. And so it shows that we're scheduled for an executive meeting, but we changed that on there. But we talked about, there it is right there about the meeting. It's on the web page. If we went back up to the heading and clicked on program information, as soon as the program chair has information, it's here. So
It says the 13th.
it must be because it was Friday the 13th. And didn't know we were here. Wonder how many people showed up on Friday. Maybe that's our problem. You also have a problem that when somebody does this at 1 o'clock in the morning or something, so we've discussed about, like right today, the attendance. Mary Frances might say, well, there wasn't enough publicity.
Oh, yes, it was.
Yeah, it's in a newsletter, and we always have a meeting the third Sunday of the month, except when the president changed it. It was posted in the newsletter, posted on the web, and there was an email that went out to everybody. However, there are people who don't go to the web, don't read their email, don't read their newsletter because they don't read the email, or this is a topic of little concern other than for you that showed up. But the stuff is out there. We will also be posting on the web the whole schedule of the calendar so that everybody knows from today now that it's been official when each month adjusts and isn't the same for those 2 holidays and that. Yeah,
John, one little thing too I might mention.
Yeah.
Because the month started on a Sunday, I think it was confusing because I didn't think it was going to be this Sunday, and then I went and looked at the calendar and go, yeah, that is the third Sunday.
Yeah.
You know, because everything started on, you know, New Year's Day and everything. It threw me off a little bit at first.
right. We have people who don't think the third Sunday, they think the next to the last Sunday.
Yeah.
And this is a month of 5, so it does cause a problem, and maybe that's some other people. They're going to show up later. Also, I wanted to point out is that we have our 5th Fridays, and we had it last month. It had a pretty good turnout, and I want to announce that we'll have our next 5th Friday, which will be in March. It's usually every 3 months. And that topic is going to be called Picture This. And it's going to be a huge program on all those things you wanted to know about pictures. Not necessarily taking pictures, that's your responsibility, but after you've taken them, what do you do with them? How do you organize them? How do you save them? How do you do this? How do you do that? And so I've got somebody, it's not going to be me. I don't want to do everything. I trick somebody into volunteering. And so we have a person that is far more knowledgeable than me on all of that will be here, and we'll have a little over 2 hours or so to focus and have fun on that topic. Oh yeah, she has 14,000 pictures that...
She's bringing to show you.
Yeah, we're going to watch one right after the other. But no, seriously, there have been lots of questions about what do you do with organizing and this and that and whatever. And so I finally talked her into saying, how about when you have a big block of time? Sunday afternoons, you get like 40 minutes to an hour. Sometimes that's not enough. So we look forward to the next big 5th Friday. And what we do to pick these 5th Fridays is we listen. Mary Frances and a few others, we just listen. What is it that people have questions about? Lots of people, repeated questions. And then we'll find something and we'll find somebody to do that. So we have 4 of these a year, and the first 3 that we started this last year have all been very successful, well attended, almost a full room. The Windows one, we had people sitting out, in here. So that's coming up. Also, we have an outside link to a Google Calendar. Now, the Google Calendar is a continuous calendar. We put up that we meet the 3rd Sunday of the month, and it's there beyond any of us, some of us, who will ever see that last meeting, because the Google Calendar goes forever. So I could click through the years and months and you'll see it. When we make a change, somebody has to go in and make a change. And that once in a while doesn't get changed right or whatever. But we try to make sure the website, since we only go a month at a time, we forget about this. And that's why, for example, the February Windows Help Desk is there. That one and the 3rd Sunday have to be, or 3rd Friday, removed because there's not going to be one in February. But you can come here and it's there. so there's no question about our meetings that are on a routine basis. I get so tired of somebody saying, now when's your general meeting? Well, it's been the same since 4 or 5 years ago. So that stuff is up there and you just got to use it. But we have people that don't. There is no need for any kind of login or whatever. But when you go to the web board forum or web forum, there's where you have to have a sign-in, but we can get it to you. The difference is before you go to that website and you click on and you would sign in and then you'd get approval. But Jim and I were having to deny tens of stuff daily because robos were filling them out. So what we tell, and Vicki tells new members, if you want access to the web board, all you have to do is contact one of us and we set it up. And you can come in and find out all sorts of information, including that special word for today that got people an extra ticket as well. So hopefully some of you did go there and find that. All right, so much for all that non-topic. I'm not going to do this program today probably as I might have planned it to do. And that's because as an educator, which includes Nancy and Bill and me, and Jackie was in education. Anybody else a teacher? Judy was. You have to make adjustments. And when I came in today and looked and saw the numbers of people here, I said, okay, this is going to be a good chance, an opportunity to be able to be a little bit more closer to what is it that you need. You know, what questions might you have on what I'm sharing? So I'm going to share some of the stuff that I would have done, but I'm not going to do all of it because I might share something that you didn't really know, but you want to know, but you got something you really want to know. Hey, seize that moment. So this will be a little bit different. Part of it's going to be off the cuff. Part of it's going to be, you know, what I call it choose your own adventure, because we'll go to you and say, okay, what questions that I can't answer? We'll see. I'm going to do my presentation a little bit backwards because of something that's happened this weekend to me. First off, there's my old phone. I've got it hooked up because its battery doesn't last long, but it's got 57%. And I was having trouble with this phone. And the difference was, I kept losing the internet. And I got really upset because I'd have internet, then I wouldn't have internet. Now, internet at home is through your wireless router. And you want that because it's free. When you get away from your router, then your phone connects to the tower and you're paying for that internet stuff. So I'm at home and I'm losing my internet connection. I'm having trouble getting it. So I say, stupid phone, and grunt, grunt, grunt. It would find other internets. I also, with this phone, as I just mentioned, have a battery problem. The battery doesn't last very long. So I decided it was probably time for a different phone. But I was nursing it along because I didn't want to really make that change. But my son offered and said, hey, how about if you tag onto our cell phone service, because you don't only have to pay for the extra line and your phone. And it would save money in my old days. And I don't know how many other people do it, but I know a number of people who do that. Dave Clement is on with his son who's in Cincinnati. And so whenever you get a call from Dave, it's not going to be a Newark number, it's a Cincinnati number because his phone was out of there. So we made the switch. And I got a new phone. And before I got the new phone and made the switch, I discovered that it wasn't really the phone that was having the problem. It was my Wi-Fi at home. It was going on the blink. Because I have a Time Warner Wi-Fi box and I have my own. And when I was running it on my own, I would lose stuff. When I finally said, okay, I'm going to move it over to the Time Warner one, I haven't lost the connection at all. So it wasn't really the phone. I was bad-mouthing the phone. But anyway, so it was time. This phone's way past the renewal time, but it's still working. Hey, Free John says if it ain't broke, don't do it. But switching with my son, I can pay for my wife, my line, and I got me a new phone, and I'm still making a lot less payment than I was before. She got it easy. She was able to take her iPhone, pop out the Verizon SIM card, and pop in the AT&T, and it was all done and taken care of because she wasn't changing phones. Now, of course, the port didn't go well, and we got home that night and found out she couldn't receive calls. So I got that resolved. So I'm leading up to the fact that I have lots of photos on my camera after a number of years. And I'm getting rid of this phone, but I want all these pictures. Well, there's a process that you can transfer. Same with your contacts. You can transfer. But the transfers don't always work. I had a friend who was on vacation. He's a snowbird. And his phone went bad. So he was forced to get a new phone immediately way out of state. Stayed with the same service, but he had to get a new phone. And so they said, oh, no problem, we can transfer everything over. So they did that. He went back to the condo where we were visiting them, and he immediately went to his old phone, and he immediately deleted all of the contacts off of the old phone because he didn't want any of that. Then he went to the new phone, and he started going down the contacts, and there were people missing.
Why would he do that in reverse? Why would he start a new
Well, they said it was transferred,
they don't always transfer.
but you don't know that until you've seen somebody burn. So he wanted to get them off of him. Part of the problem is he's OCD. So, had to do that. So the rest of the night, his wife sent him to his bedroom because he was in such a... He spent the night copying contacts from her phone and entering them back into his. Well, I'm here to tell you that I didn't even blink twice to worry about my contacts. Because this phone, there are absolutely no contacts on this phone. But if I bring up my contacts, Mary Frances could see that my different categories, there's 37, 20 of those, 10, 30, 70, 13, 75 in the LCC. I have hundreds of contacts, but not one of them is on my phone. Cloud, because I use Gmail, and Gmail has my email contacts. I have gone into my Gmail email contacts and added anybody who I don't email with, but who I telephone with, and put them in there. And so all I had to do back then was I signed into Google, and immediately I have all of my email. If I update on my Gmail, my phone automatically is updated because the phone gets it from there. So when I got my new phone yesterday, all I did was log into Google and all of my contacts are there. If something happens to the phone, it has to be reset to factory. All I do is go back, log into Google, because remember Google is a big umbrella, and all of my contacts are right back there. So I don't worry about that. All right, so the second worry that we have is our pictures. My wife, on her phone, she's not as prolific as our guest speaker. I just looked, there's like 1,400 pictures. And that's a lot of pictures because most of them are grandkid pictures that you worry about. I don't have quite as many because she takes more pictures, but I have pictures that I didn't want to worry about. And so I'm backing up all my pictures. Now, your phone provider has a backup system that you can back up and then you can restore back. I don't know what their limits are in size and whatever. But I discovered that one of the Google services is called Google Photos. There used to be one called Picasa. Google bought it out. It's there, but it's not even being developed anymore because Google now is pushing their Google Photos. If you have the app on your phone and you back up to that, you have unlimited storage of your pictures. Now, the one problem would be for somebody like Jackie, who is a photographer, the pictures that are stored are good, fine quality pictures for everybody to look at, but they're not probably the best ones if you're going to do a lot of editing. But the more and more I work with people, and maybe that's why the digital imaging group is just not really, chewing at the bits to get it going up. Most people just picture, take. They never do any editing with it. They take pictures, they send pictures, they share pictures, they show pictures, but very smaller number do the editing, and it's the bigger quality pictures that are the best for editing. So the Google ones, they convert them to high quality, not really good for editing, but unlimited storage. So when I did my phone switch, when I logged into Google, all of my pictures that used to be on this phone, they're all backed up, are now on that phone within a matter of minutes maybe. My wife has an iPhone because she wants to be able to FaceTime with our kids when they lived out west. They have a backup, but it's limited. The size is limited. But with iCloud, you can add for 99 cents a month, like 50 gigs. Don't quote me on that, but I think that's what it is. So, Free John is paying, or was paying, 99 cents a month, so we had huge amount of storage space to back up her pictures. I could, now that I've learned about Google Photos, install the app and back them all up and save myself 99 cents a month.
John,
Yes.
if you go to Google and you go in there, you have to have that sign that says Google Photos, that app?
On your phone.
Yeah, you can go out and get the app?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I'm asking.
Yeah. And if there was a way, I don't even know if you go out and just get like a Google package, brings everything.
Well, I've got the package on my tablet,
Uh-huh.
and it's got it in there, but I don't remember seeing Google Well, maybe there is, I don't know,
Yeah.
I just probably never dealt with it.
to do it. But here, excuse me for a second, if I can sit down and see my typing. Here is the other big benefit for what I'm doing.
I don't have on this. So that's why I have pictures.
Oh, I see, I didn't hit the delete key on this one.
One can only guess, what would you think?
So this is the Google's main page. It's not Gmail, that's a sub-page. So when you get a Google account, you get an account for all of Google. It's like I tell people it's like a shopping mall. Has all these different stores. You can go in whatever store you want, but there's another door that gets you to all the other stores. And if you haven't seen this,
Now, you're talking about the photos right there at the bottom?
in a second, yeah. But these are all of the services Google has, and even more. And so once you have a Google account, you have, about 40 different services, which include YouTube. I didn't know it until later that because I have a Google Gmail account, I now have my own YouTube account.
Right.
And all the other stuff that gets with it. So there are tons and tons and tons and stuff that go with that. But I'm going to go back because I want to log into my Google. And I happen to be logging in as my Gmail account because I didn't know at the time that I could have got just a JCamp2008 at google.com. So I've got to log in. So I log in as Gmail. I go in the Gmail store and then I get access to all my others. There are some people that go in the main door with a Google login to get to everything. And so it's going to first take me to, now I can get to my Gmail. All right, so I'm going to go to what I was saying, and there's the photo store.
Yeah, I've got that on my tablet.
Okay?
I got pictures in that, but I didn't know
Perfect.
it was unlimited.
Because here's what I'm going to show you. I'm going to go into Photos, and here are all of the photos I've taken on my phone since May of 2013, or have been downloaded, that have been backed up. So I have web access to all of my pictures. And there's the one from Greg and Cindy Huffman, who were down south at a place called Panini Pete's. He was on that Diners, Dive-Ins, and Drives place that we went to. So that's what's neat. Not only are the pictures accessible on the phone, but I can get to them through the web. So if I wanted to take a photo and do it, I can use this to upload all the photos on my computer too. It's not just for the cell phone. I can upload pictures from my computer. My phone is automatic to back up. I can create folders. Notice that they are organizing it by date. I could probably go in and organize them by other means. I can do it by people, places, things. And so I can create albums. I could create an album of everything that's LCCS. All right. So that's, to me, what's really great. I had no problem when I got the new phone. I can remember before, having to go through a system of somehow keep your old phone, got the new phone, connect them together somehow or whatever, and transfer all your contacts, transfer all your stuff, but it's there. Questions? Now, going beyond that, Betty's phone goes to iCloud. That's at 99 cents a month. And iCloud, for those Apple people, does the same thing, only you have to pay a little bit. So I happen to have we have a tablet and an iPad. I mean, we have a tablet and an iPhone. And the iPhone is in her name, the tablet was older, so we have mine. So I have an iCloud account, so all of the pictures from the iPad are backed up to my iCloud. She has her own iCloud on the phone, so all her pictures are there. So I'm going to go into hers. And as you notice, you'll see that there are additional things on the cloud. All of her email can be up there, all of her contacts, her calendar. I can access the calendar through the web browser. There's an iCloud Drive, which is different than Photos. Just like Google Photos is different than Google Drive. I have a limit on how much I can store on Google Drive until I start paying it. But because I'm using Google Photos, it's unlimited. So if I click on Photos, it'll take an extra minute. Oh, I'm sorry, I said she had 1,400. She's only got 1,200. And so again, using this service, I have web access to every picture that's on her phone. So if I was here today and I wanted to show you a picture off her phone, but her phone's with her, no can do. Now I can. If her phone gets lost or whatever, we haven't lost all those grandkid pictures like that one. What a kid. So those of you that have phones and you take pictures, you should access, if you're Android, access Google Photos so you have unlimited. Or if you're an iPad, for 99 cents you can get 50 gigs. Or use your iPad or iPhone and go with Google Photos and have unlimited. Now, because this is the next feature, I'm getting a text message that says, can't do this, can't do this, can't do this. And I haven't been able to figure out, well, I know, you've said it 10 times now. How do I tell you to stop telling me? All right, so I'll get out of her account. And mine doesn't have as many pictures in there. But again, that's a service like Google with many other things. I had pictures on my G Drive, my Google Drive, but now I know to move those over to Photos because that saves storage space on the one I'm paying for. Well, I'm not paying for it. I use up to the free limit on that. Any questions about protecting your photos? Or like I do with my Gmail, and I love that because if I make a change at home on the computer, it's changed in my phone. And a lot of people never realize that why would anybody put a person in your email contacts that didn't have email? I discovered that because it connects to my cell phone, I can put all of their phone numbers in and call them, even when they don't have an email. and it's all protected on that. But anyhow, comments or questions or...
So you could share out any of those photos you put up with a link, kind of like you do with the OneDrive, for example?
Yeah, in fact, I've got to figure out, because my son started yelling at me, because I take a picture and then I send it to him. Because it's going up on my Google Photos, they are now not sending the picture, they're sending a link to a shared. So that irritates him because he has to do a second step. He has to click a link to go get that picture instead of just seeing it. So I need to investigate, see if there's a way that you can either send it directly without that. That's the easy way to do it. And the reason we do it is, I can send him a link to a huge picture that wouldn't go through email or something or text message because of size limits.
Sure, and it's faster.
Yeah. Judy, do you have any questions? I wouldn't get
I have to leave. I promised friends I'd meet him at 4 o'clock. Sorry,
Okay,
guys.
if there wasn't anything,
Good,
leave that.
good presentation.
Okay, I got some other good stuff.
You want to take your cake with you?
Huh?
Oh,
Oh,
take
no.
your cake?
Whoever wants that cake can have it.
All right.
She can't take a cake with stuff. All right, so...
What do you want for your door prize?
I gave it to our new person here. If she wins, she gets the
Her
cake.
choice, no
Thank
problem.
you, Judy.
Thanks, Judy. Now, let me go to a second thing that was something that I learned a little while ago. And if you all know it, great. But if you didn't. So, now I have a phone that is no longer active as a phone. However, most everybody knows I can still make a 911 call. So this is still good for emergencies because 911 goes to any cell tower and will connect. Although they'll tell you that, we have a hard time tracking you down because you're going through the cell. But it works as a cell phone. What a lot of people don't know is this phone is working as it was Friday, completely except for making phone calls. Because I take this phone home Saturday, I am right here, and I am connected to the internet. I can do everything that this phone can do via the internet.
You now got a tablet.
I now have a tiny mini tablet. And so a lot of people think, well, old phone, we'll get rid of it, donate it, because you heard that people can reuse it or something. But this now works just like a tablet, like it always did. It can't make phone calls, which is good because if I let my grandson use it, he's not going to call overseas or something. Ira?
Yeah. If you had Skype on there, you could use your phone then.
Absolutely. So that's the next thing. People say, well, what good is it? Well, if you have internet connection,
You can use Skype and make phone calls if you got an account.
You can also use Google Hangouts.
It's free for local, for Skype to Skype.
hang on to that just 1 second there. Let me find.
Cost me like you, I was paying $35, $40, something like that for a whole year. I can call it anywhere in the United States and Canada.
I could call that phone
Oh,
because I have Skype and I have a subscription with Skype that I use to help people to call regular phones. But through the internet, I can call anybody who has Skype on their computer. But because I get the extra service, I could call any of you with my phone that is not a phone anymore.
right.
Now, Jim also says that because of Skype having Skype, Google says, hey, we can set up something like that, and they have what's called Google Talk or
Hangouts,
Google
yeah.
Talk and Hangouts. You know, and Hangouts is their video one too. So, and then that's why Microsoft bought Skype, was because Google had that, and they said, oh, rather than develop it, we can pay these little measly guys that invent Skype more money than they'd ever think of, and we can take it over. So they have. But yes, you can go through and you can use either the Google, which for me might be better than sticking with Microsoft stuff, and make calls. And I think, Jim, isn't it, they can call phones?
You can call phones, but you
Yeah.
have to use Chrome.
Yeah, okay, but that's Google's, and so,
Yeah.
okay. It's just like Microsoft will eventually require everybody to use
They'll
Edge.
give you a phone number. Actually, you can receive calls.
Yeah. So,
I've done that at the office.
Okay.
I put a headset on, talk right through the computer.
so there's no reason to dump a non-active phone service phone, because it still works. It still has a lot of value. And so as long as you are at an internet, then it works fine. If you're not near an internet connection, you won't do it. But most of us have wireless internet at home, so this will work at home. I'm here, it's going to work here. I go to McDonald's, it'll work at McDonald's. So you can make use of that. You can do the same thing with your iDevice. The iPad that does not have the wireless service, like I don't have. And we even had Dave Clement and David Reinhardt, who had iPods. They were using a program that they were able to make phone calls with an iPod. So technology has gotten a big way. So hopefully that was something new. So this phone I'm not going to get rid of, because the only thing wrong with it is that the battery drains, so I have to keep charging it. Yeah. John.
So you can still take pictures and send them to the cloud and all that.
Nope, I don't want to go to Drive. We're also using our internet here. But I am uploading that picture. And so it will appear up at the top when we get here. So the answer, yes. If you have internet connection, whatever you've been doing with that phone will work. There it is.
Cool.
So that's all on the web. Now, of course, this is for storage. So you see that I don't really have a lot that I can do. I can copy this address and send it to somebody so they can share it, but I can't send this picture directly to you. So I can send you the link and you can come and see it. And that's really the new now thing, because anything that gets sent to you can take up space on your computer, and if you don't want it taking up space, this is the better way to do it. So your
There's not a
phone,
send to?
that was a save link, and then I could send the link.
I send.
Yeah. So that's what you do with when you do the cloud. So see, now I can, who do I want to send it to? I send it to my son, and he'll wonder what in the world am I sending that picture to.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's send it to me. Oh no, that's that's the one where it's. Here's where they're getting scary. I added my picture, and it has gone through all of my photos and said, I find you in all of these pictures. So it's one way to sort things, by being able to add an assistant feature where you can label people so that the computer knows this picture is this. One thing interesting I think it did is I did Andrew, who's the littlest one. No, yeah. Or I did Joseph, I can't remember which. And the computer pulled up the picture of the brother. Because their features are so close, it said, I think this is, but no. All right. Any other questions about this? So I'm not going to get rid of this, because while we're at home, I can put games on here. The grandson can use this, and it's using up no data that's coming off the internet, and I don't have to worry about him calling somebody.
Does all that work with the old flip phone?
If the flip phone has web connection. If it doesn't have web connection and only went through the tower to get it, then no, it has to have the Wi-Fi connection. But the old flip phone will still dial 911.
Yeah, the old flip phone is really hard to find games.
You can do that with any smartphone, like whether it's an iPhone or a Galaxy, any of them?
Any that have, and that's why, the tablet that I have, I only bought the base tablet that was Wi-Fi. I didn't want the one that was, cell tower. So my grandson gets upset because we take the iPad and we get away from the house. Some of his games don't work because it needs to have Wi-Fi connection.
So we can give him a book.
But the other day on I don't know if it was, I know what it was. Joe was in the car with his dad, and Andy, or I think he was taking Andy out or something, and when he come back, Joe goes, Papa Rick's on the phone. Well, Papa Rick had called. Joe knows, hit that button, he's talking to his other grandpa. But the opposite can happen. You go in there and you could hit people and be calling somebody, but not on this anymore. Not on that. Anything else? The other big thing that I wanted to talk about that was brought up, others, is we get pictures that we take. And I'm not going to talk about that, because pictures you take. And when you take them, they're on your computer. And now mine go on my computer, and they can go up. I also, with the Google Photos, I can also say, delete all the pictures that you have off of my phone to save space. Because this phone needed space, because it had a very small memory card and no way to add anything more. And when I did it, I said, I don't need that, I've got cloud. And so Google will do that real easy for you. But the question came up is that when people send you pictures, either by text message or by email, what do? I see it, now what I do? Well, you got to decide, do I want that picture or do I not want that picture? If you don't want the picture, you can always hit a delete button and get rid of it. But what if you do want it? The picture is an attachment either to a text message or an email. And sometimes in the phones they don't make it as easy to figure out because they're not all the same. Even in computers, you get an email and you have to look for where you right click and save the attachment, or look for a button that says save attachments. In one program, all the attachments show up at the bottom and the control button's right there. In some mail programs, the picture is there. You've got to go to each one and right click and say, attach. With the phone, I'll let you know that there are a couple different tricks that you try on yours. Usually, if you get a text message with a photo or an email that comes to your phone, because all my emails come to my computer and to my phone, if you tap the picture, it gets a little bit bigger. So you're seeing just the picture. And then once you're there, you're going, what else do I do? Sometimes nothing. You just hit the back button and you go back to your message. Try not tapping the picture, but long pressing the picture. And see if, like a right click, if a menu pops up and one of your choices is to save the attachment. And then you can hit that save, and then you can save that picture that came in a text.
Where does it save it to?
That's coming up next, isn't it? Okay, it's kind of hard to see into it, but Kyle sent a text, and us repair buddies will love it. And so there's a picture. It's a picture taken off of a Facebook. So when I touch it, it gets bigger. And I want my guys over here to see this.
I've seen this before.
Wondered why computer or his refrigerator or whatever didn't work. They asked him, do you have it plugged in? Do you have your extension cord plugged in? Yeah. they plugged it. Anyway, so then I can find my back button. All right, so I tapped it and I get to see the full picture. But if I long press, then you'll see that I get like a right click. And see, I get my menu.
Baby Roush, are you getting this?
Sure, John, I have a question.
Yeah, let me come right back up here.
Okay.
And you can see that one of the choices is save attachment.
Does it have a copy?
Copy to save the box. Yeah. But what's the difference?
With the iPhone, like a text, you get a picture.
Uh-huh.
You can copy, hold your finger on it, and then you can send that picture to somebody else in your text.
Oh yeah. Well, see, I have right here on my Android, second one down, forward. Yeah. So I can delete it. I can forward it. I can share it. So when share it means I'm going to go send it to Facebook or tweet or something. And I can save the attachment or copy to a saved box. Say new phone, I'm not quite sure what that means. Or I can lock this message, oh well. So that's, a lot of people don't know. They tap it and the picture comes up, but it doesn't get a chance to save it. So it's a long hold, which is the same as the right. Now, if I do tap it, now what you look for in modern days is either 3 little dots or 3 little dashes. The 3 dashes is what they call the hamburger. And when you find that, you should be able to now, on this new phone, I don't have that. But what I do have is, see that down arrow?
Yes.
See the down arrow?
Oh, yeah.
So I have a down arrow that means download or save the attachment. And so you've got to look at your particular device to see whether they like the 3 dots to make you go to a second menu, the 3 little buns, you know, think of the Big Mac, or mine case, it just has a down arrow, which, you know, non-language.
But the question I had about forward was, so could you forward it to Bob?
Forwarded to,
Your email, your Gmail, which would in turn take it to Google Photos.
I can address the picture to what I want. But if I save it to my phone, all pictures are set up to
Sure.
that way. But now I can address it to whoever I want to, and when I hit the person, let me see. Oh yeah, and when there's a silhouette, it hits my contact list, so let me add whoever I want to send it to. So I can send it on to somebody else. All right, Mary Frances had the comment, or made the comment, said that, discard. And I knew this new phone, the on button is in the back. I have for years, it's been on the side, or on the iPhone, it's on the top. This one, it's on the back. So I was sitting there when I got the phone, why don't you do something? Come on. And so he said, oh, it's the button in the back.
That's weird.
And this button, I haven't done it, can do a fingerprint too. I'm just not quite sure about if I trust my fingerprint not to get burned or something. All right, so Mary Frances asked the question, where does it get saved? Now, we know that in a computer...
It says it down.
Am I interrupting you?
No.
The other day they told on television as far as security that if you do this and somebody catches a photo, they have such sophisticated, they can get your prints now.
Really? It was on the news, Mary Frances. I saw that.
Now,
Amazing.
what we've learned and what we teach, and that's because nobody comes in before Windows 10, maybe 8, nobody ever really saw a downloads folder. Because on your start menu, you saw documents, pictures, music. That's all. And most people didn't know that there was your name at the top. If you clicked your icon, it took you to the big picture to show you all your folders, and one of them is downloads. And so on the computer, when you download something off the internet, it goes to that folder unless you customize it to not.
Yeah, mine goes to the gallery.
On the computer, I'm saying.
No, on the computer it goes the other way.
Right. Now, in the phone, because mostly the phone is a talking phone, and then we added the cameras, the default is going to what's called the gallery.
Yeah.
Now, that's only what you see in the side, in the internal workings. It's usually a folder called something else, but that's called
It
gallery.
took me a half hour to find that out because it kept going downloads, and I said, well, sure, it should be there. That's where they go.
Yeah. So it's automatic, it goes to your downloads. But I know what Mary Frances is going to be bringing up next. In my phone, that's it. There's no question, I have no trouble. All of my pictures went to the gallery, which is the picture download folder.
Right.
There are other folders that if I typed up something, it would save it somewhere else. But that, you only find those when you go, like, let's say you have a text program on your phone, you type a text, you save it. Well, to get to it, you have to go to the text and go to File, Open. It knows where it is. Normally people can't see the file system in here unless, like me, because I'm a geeky nut, I downloaded a file manager. So I have a program that just works just like either File Explorer in Windows or the ones in Linux, and it does the exact same thing. I can see all the files. But normally a program only takes you directly. If you go to the gallery, which is your photo viewing program, it takes you to that folder. Now, this phone is supposedly but I think I have to take the back off. This phone has additional storage capabilities. I can put a micro SD card in. Now Mary Frances asked the question, how do you know? Because now I've got two places it can go.
Yeah.
You go into your settings and you tell your phone, where do you do them? Do you do them on the external storage or do you do it internal? And the way I think most people do is they assign programs to go to saved and stored on the internal one, and then all of their photos and stuff go to the external, because that one has probably more room, and you can take it out and, back before we had like a photo, and you can take it back and do the other thing with it. Yeah.
I'm going to pass it around if there's somebody
That new fancy thing.
doesn't know what he's talking about.
Oh, I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about a micro SD card that goes inside the...
No, it's a little tiny card that's inside your phone.
But
That's for the people who don't or can't do that. Somebody who invented the outside external plug. But in iPhones and some of those, they have a little compartment that you can pop out a really tiny little SD style card. You plug that into your computer, the phone at the bottom, don't you?
no, sir, it's a little itsy-bitsy thing. You open up your, you put it down and you got the...
Well, what's that whole big...
That's a card reader for the...
Oh, no, this is something different. This sticks out.
Okay.
Yeah, this is to transfer the pictures. That's the new thing, that you can take them out.
The little square is...
It doesn't stay. Right, David?
You would have to take the little mini SD card out of the camera, install it in that, plug that into your computer.
Yeah. But this is a newfangled thing, because they've got it now where you can plug it in, transfer. That we gave one of those away at the last at the banquet, at the party.
That's it.
Yeah, but this one, it's really tiny. It's smaller than a fingernail, and usually you have to put it in a regular sized SD adapter to make it fit in computer spots or readers. But yeah.
I didn't think you could put SD cards in iPhone. I didn't think you could put them in.
I don't know.
You'd have to put whatever they tell you to put in.
I didn't think you could change it at all.
Yeah, they're making it that, that's what they're making it that way now. They want you to buy the biggest one that you can do. But that's not necessary anymore because you have... So some of the phones, mainly the Android, will have a slot that you can add an external storage, which is that mini micro, SD type card, and you can put in, like for example, my old phone was only like a 16 gig phone. If it had a slot, I could put a 64 gig card in there. And so then, Mary Frances, the answer to your question is, you go into your settings and he says, photos, store on external. Programs that you download go to internal.
Okay.
And that's how you do it. And some people in the beginning don't know because they don't know what their settings are set. And they go into their files and they find the external, there's nothing there because everything's going to internal. All right, so to sum that up, with your pictures, tap usually opens, try long. Once you see a picture, look for 3 dots, 3 hamburgers, and you'll find a menu that should say Save Attachment. And it goes to wherever it's a computer is what it is, wherever it is been designated to go. And if you have multiple choices, you can then choose on them. Go check out cloud for Apple. There's a free this much, but we ran out of room, so I'm paying 99 cents a month. But Google Photos, different than Picasso, is unlimited. But I'd say not for the big photo editor type person, because you can't store big pictures for free. You have to pay for those. Questions? Comments? Yes?
You transferred a picture that was on your phone to the cloud
Yeah, picture that was,
that you were just demonstrating.
yeah.
I'm out west and I don't have a connection to the cloud. And I take a lot of pictures. And I drive to an area where there is a connection. Will those apps automatically start uploading, or do you have to make the choice?
Look at the setting to see if it says automatically when Wi-Fi is available. That's what I think is set on here.
Thank you.
But what you also need to do in David's case is make sure that you turn data off for cell service. Because if David's phone has cell service, he's going to use the data to upload to the internet through the cell tower, and that's going to cost him money. So there's a setting in your phone that can say certain things are only allowed to work on Wi-Fi or network. So I go in and make sure anything that isn't really crucial. Google Maps needs to be on a tower. Do you need email when you're away from home?
Not really.
Okay, then you can say only when I'm within access. But yeah, if not, the phone companies would love for you to run everything off of data, because that's where they're going to make the money on you. So go in there and limit what can be done on data and what does on Wi-Fi. Good question. Any other questions? Anybody have a question about how do you do something? Because we've got people who've done things that they might be able to share with us before we close now.
I'm gonna go home and try some stuff and then I'll have some more questions.
That's the way. I have to go home with this new phone. I figured out the new phone came with all of the apps spread across a number of screens. I said, I don't want all the apps on my screens. I only want what I need on here. I want a button that I push to go to all my apps, just like we do in Windows 10. You know, there are some people who probably have expanded the tile to include every program they have. Well, that's why we have this to get to the other programs that are not as important. So I wanted that on the phone. And sure enough, it took me 4 levels of going down a menu. I found where it said for your home screen, choose to use a home and app button. I clicked that and almost every one of my apps disappeared off my screens, and now there's a button that I hit and all the apps come back. So sometimes you have to go reading through your menus. Tammy.
So your photos are in the cloud,
Yeah.
okay? Can I then take one of those photos and put it on my computer photos and then edit it?
Oh, probably so, but remember the quality isn't going to be as great.
No, but I can edit it.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh, well, let me...
I can fix the quality somewhat.
Actually, what I would do if you're thinking about doing that is have all the pictures backed up off the phone but not removed. Because we are finding out that, and when the guys were here last year sometime, we are finding that there are a lot of editing features in your cell phones. Cropping, red eye, a couple of other enhancements that you can take your photo and edit it on the phone to make it look good, and then send it back up to the cloud as a good edited picture. But I hate it that it's happening, because I wanted to get big into the digital imaging group way back when, and learning how to use a camera. I always wanted to buy, one of those SLRs. Couldn't afford those, so I bought the next best thing, which was everything but the removable lens. I had a camera, it was an Icon on the top of the whatever, and wanting to learn how to take pictures. But then every time I would spend hours playing with David and all this other stuff, my wife would take a picture with her little Canon point and shoot, and the picture was good. And then we started taking pictures with our cell phones, and they're better than good. Why lug around the camera? You got to change the lens and reset this snap, 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 snap. Do 15 shots, and you're going to have good ones. So I think that these cameras are going to be, putting a lot of high quality cameras out of business.
Isn't that, I mean, yeah.
I was wondering if you had an answer for me on one thing. When Ken Wexler went out to Yellowstone Park, it was a rainy day, and he couldn't take the picture he wanted with his cell phone, so he bought a postcard. And put it in the cell phone, there's a picture of it, and emailed it to me. The picture came out this big, with no instructions on how to make it smaller.
The picture was not that big. Remember, the picture was a postcard.
Yeah.
Your computer has enlarged it to 300.
But it didn't give me any instructions on how to reduce it.
What didn't give you instructions?
Well, wouldn't there be instructions saying minus, or make it smaller, or this is 100% or something?
Yes, it's there. You just haven't found it.
It's on your pictures.
That's what I was wondering, because a lot of people.
It's in a browser, and it's in your photo program. Were you looking in a program that showed photos?
No, just.
Or the browser?
Just a email.
Probably a browser.
If it's the browser, you can go in and I'll just show you. Vivaldi makes it really easy to see.
Because I'm not.
Because right down here.
That's what I thought too, but that one didn't do any good.
Well, that's for just the browser look. But each program that's a digital viewing program has settings to how big do you want to see it, how much do you want to magnify.
Did you just click on in your email, Becky? Becky? Did you just click on it in your email to look at it? Did you just click your email to look at it?
Well, it came in an email.
And you clicked it to look at it? Is that what you
I
did?
don't know. It's been too long now.
And see, there's a possible problem, because some email programs just use the viewer in a browser that doesn't have options to change.
That's probably what was wrong with it.
And so what we would teach in our classes that people don't want to take is that if you have a favorite viewing program, that you go to your computer and say, anytime I open up this kind of a file, use this program. Go to your email program and say, anytime I open up this kind of a picture, say it was a JPEG, tell your email program, open it up with this program that gives you all that controls.
I'm not the only person I went through it before, and people complain about the same thing.
And my answer is those people haven't come to our classes to learn how to do that. So that's the way it is. Okay. If you have other questions, come to a Windows help desk, even though it's not really Windows, or come to a repair. Come to our next meeting beforehand and grab somebody and say, hey, help me with this. Or if this is something of interest, maybe you need to see if you can get with a few people and say, hey, let's have a smartphone help desk, or SIG, where we can come together once a month and talk about problems like that. The only issue is that Ira's got a Motorola, I used to have a Motorola, now I've got an LG. Things are a little bit different, but they're all Android, so they should have a lot in common. There's no reason we can't have a smartphone SIG. We just need someone who says, okay, I'll open up the door and I'll close up the door and I'll be the host and we'll just get together and talk. You know, the iPad was doing that. But the person who leads it up kind of feels that's not what I want to do. So we need somebody who wants to do that with the iPad and help them out. I don't do enough with an iPad. I can't do everything. I don't want to do it. Mary Frances, do you have a topic to wet the whistle for next month?
Yes, we're going to have photos of a trip. One of our members, he's going to give us a verbal and photographic review of his photos, and he's also going to talk about how he got certain shots and footage.
Photorama. Okay, because she'll send a description to the webmaster to be able to go, because every one of our programs for the last almost year are up there, so people who come to our website can see what we did each month and see what they missed out on. So now that this meeting's over, I can take that information, say January's program was about this, and then here's what the topic for February. Come out and get some more snacks as we get our little...
John Kennedy, thank you so much.
Oh, well, I thank you, few people, and